Hey folks, I'm Brandon Beck. I'm the co-founder of Riot, and I'm part of the AIS board here. And I was asked by our next speaker, Noxy, if I would introduce his talk and sort of set the table for what we're about to hear. And of course, that'd be my honor. The story we're about to hear is near and dear to me, and it will be a powerful reminder of why we all make games and do what we do. So many of us in this room, we found our way into this industry because of the incredible experiences that we've had as players. Timeless memories of adventures that we've had, ambitious challenges that we've set for ourselves and overcome. In many cases, friendships, lifelong friendships that we've built. A sense of belonging to the communities that we've been a part of. The list goes on, and the imprint of those experiences is why we do what we do, to give those moments back to our friends, to our communities, and to the next generation of players. And this is the story of one player, a wonderful player who impacted and enriched the lives of millions of other players. But this is an unusually emotional story for a stage like this, so I just want to prep you with that. And out of respect for some of the subject matter, I've been asked to have us please refrain from photos and video. So finally, I'd like to introduce our speaker. He's a dear friend, but also someone who I've spent far more time with as a player than in real life, as Noxy and Rise versus Aaron and Brandon. Teaming up and competing and adventuring, and if I'm honest, getting a little carried by, whether it's on Summoner's Rift or other fantastical lands. He's a mean Leona, but actually a very generous player who's always been someone who gives a ton back to the communities that he's been a part of. He helped us test League of Legends when we were making it in the early days as an early tester. He actually made the very first purchase in League of Legends ever. He was an honorary community member and community manager. He was one of what we call wrenchmen, who were the volunteers that helped players troubleshoot their way through our painfully buggy game. And if you're around for those early days, then you know, and I'm sorry. He's been a part of the mod and now development scene for a number of years, currently leading the development of Hypixel. The story he's about to share is one that is very personal to him. It'll be powerful and touching, and hopefully we can all find some meaning and inspiration in it. So without further ado, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Noxy.
Cool. So, thank you, Brandon, for that really lovely intro. Name of my talk today is One Player Matters. I'm Noxy, CEO of Hypixel Studios, and I'm really appreciative to have this chance to tell the story today. It's been 5 years since Dice Dubrovnik, where I spoke last, and we're excited to share it. So, as some of you may remember from that talk, when it comes to our elevator pitch, it's a little bit complicated. In fact, it's so complicated that we'd often scare away many folks with the complexity, but good news, I'm here to give you a very quick TLDR. Any of you ever heard of a small indie game made in Stockholm called Minecraft? Made by that small indie studio called Microsoft? Well, it and other creator games like Roblox, like Fortnite, like many of the games coming out now, do this really amazing thing. They allow for players to make a living doing cool stuff with those games. And so we started in 2013, and we were just a Minecraft server. And everything was great, but ultimately, the game that we were working on, Minecraft at the time, is someone else's game. And we had aspirations. Aspirations that eventually came to the forefront when 10 years ago, something that the community calls the EULA update happened. It was a big change in the rules of how you could create content with Minecraft and how you could monetize that. And it's pretty old news by now. Like I said, 10 years, but it was a transformative event. So that change to the rules put us in a new position where we had to figure out a future, and we always wanted to be a game studio. And luckily for us, unlike most studios, we already had an audience. A bunch of people that really wanted us to make something that they could continue their conversation with us on. You know, it's kind of looking back, I can think about that moment in 2018 where we unveiled the game for the first time, and we had made a promise to our community to show it, and it went great. The community posted a bunch of reactions, there was a lot of hype, there was a lot of fan art, and in fact, one person even made a giant cake from a piece of concept art, which is incredible and completely unanticipated. So that reception was amazing. It was very much beyond our wildest dreams. But once we had processed all the emotions, we started to feel different emotions. We started to feel pressure, expectation, a lot of different things. And so we felt a little bit of panic, actually. The path that we wanted to develop the game on didn't really feel as possible as it was before. So we started reaching out to the business community. We were pretty underexposed. In fact, we were not sophisticated at all as a company. You know, we didn't have biz dev. We didn't really know what investment was or cap tables. You know, Series A, what the hell is that? Is that something to do with baseball? I don't know. But we knew we needed some help. And eventually, we realized that Riot was super aligned with our vision for players. And, you know, I don't want to blow too much smoke towards Brandon, but we joined up with him, and it's been pretty great since. So we're super hard at work on our new game, Hypixel, and we're just coming out of an engine pivot. It's actually a new custom engine for the second time, so yeah, it's a bit scary for us. I don't know if Unreal's in the house, but, you know, sorry we didn't go that way. Maybe we should have, who knows. We could do a whole talk on that, but getting back to the core, really, and not getting distracted by new engines and stuff like that, let's talk about players. And so when I look out into the crowd right now, and I look into the elevators and I see the lobbies, a lot of my own game dev heroes are in this room. So the irony is very apparent to me coming to this room and talking about One Player Matters. I think that's something that obviously is built into any developer's DNA. In fact, it's more so than developer DNA, it's company DNA. Good companies like Riot are built on the foundations of those stories. So that's right, Brandon, you embarrassed me with your intro. I get to embarrass you a little bit now. And so, very small story here, but about 10 years ago, a popular YouTuber named Catrific was very much present. And she split her focus between lifestyle vlogs, fashion, and competitive League of Legends, which for me, that's a pretty dope mix. And she finds a puppy. She finds an abandoned puppy one day, puts it up on social media, and I think it was actually Brandon's wife, Natasha, who's actually sitting there in the audience over there, who saw the video, and so Brandon ended up adopting the dog. So, you know, when I talk about one player mattering, it's pretty easy to make the case that Catrific mattered, especially Brandon's family. And, you know, here's some obligatory cute photos of a puppy. That's Ziggy, by the way. 10 years later, Ziggy is still doing very well. Brandon, not so much. He's a lot older, but, you know, that's life. So, Catrific obviously is just one story among many. We have a lot of amazing players in the world. Players like Faker, or Lily Pichu, or Dennis Fong, who was the first esports player and is sitting in this room somewhere. Dennis, say hi at some point. And, of course, Daigo Imahara. But we're going to tell you the story of our most famous player, and his name is Technoblade. So, Technoblade started to play on Hypixel on the Minecraft server when he was about 11 or 12 years old. His avatar is a pig with a crown, and we're going to introduce him by showing you two quick videos. The first is his first ever video on YouTube, and the second one, he is celebrating every teenager's favorite milestone.
Hey guys, I'd just like to preface this video with an explanation of what goes on because when I am concentrated, I don't talk at all. Welcome guys, and today is a very special occasion, and not because I'm gonna kill Metamusic off spawn, but because I have 420 subs! Yeah! You knew what that means, we're gonna blaze it.
So, the first video was a lie. He talked a lot. And for the second one, that's a glimpse of his humor. You'll see that throughout the presentation. But he grew, and his voice deepened a lot. He played a lot of Hypixel, and he became our #1 fan. One of the most active posters in the forum, for example. Sometimes he was our #1 critic as well. But regardless, he became a top 5 player for us, and he joined our player council, which is players with even more ability to tell us what to do. That was great. But like so many people his age, his dream was to be a YouTuber. And on the Hypixel server, in order for you to qualify as a YouTuber, you need to have 30,000 subscribers, which, you know, when we think about like the big YouTubers, that doesn't seem like a lot, but for someone starting out, that's a mountain to climb. And so he set about climbing that mountain. We rooted for him because, you know, we were a little biased towards him. We loved him. And we even debated letting him have that rank a little bit early, but we thought, you know, if he gets it early, it's going to take away that moment. And eventually he got that moment. And so that's a little video of what that looks like now.
All right, Hypixel told me that he had something hilarious.
It took
that
500
I
videos.
had to record, so, you know, I should probably check that out. He's gonna teleport me. I swear to God, if it's a dirt shack, I'm gonna flip it. Wait, what? Oh my God. What? Oh my God. There's so many. So many staff. Now seems like a good time to break the rules.
So that was the only time we ever did that for someone. We were all, you know, obviously super proud, a homegrown hero. And he went on to set the record for the most amount of wins on our most popular game mode. He won 1,400 times in a row, which is great from the admin's perspective, from an uptime SLA point of view, but we had some conversations about balance after that. And his first mainstream viral video was he beat Minecraft in hardcore mode with a steering wheel. So take that, accessibility. But on the day we announced Hytale, he was nowhere to be found. Every other Hypixel YouTuber or Minecraft person or general YouTuber had done a reaction video, but we wanted to see his the most. And it took him a full week later to drop the video, and this is what that looked like.
Hytale! Technoblade, you're late! The trailer's been out for days. Look, who asked them to upload it on like the last day of the semester? I was up for like 27 hours with no sleep just so I could submit my last assignment before my flight. So I didn't record my initial reaction to the trailer, but I'm going to do an approximate recreation of it right now. Oh my God! Get the steering wheel!
So yeah, he was pretty hyped. We loved that video, and he was doing great. In fact, he was smashing his goals. Cool slide. Anyway, eventually he got invited into a Minecraft tournament, and this Minecraft tournament featured all the top content creators like Mr. Beast, Ninja, PewDiePie, Dan TDM. You know, the list goes on. And there was tens of thousands of dollars in the line as a prize pool. And like I said, remember, he was only around that 100K mark at this point. He was much bigger than those people with 10+ million subs. But there was one key difference between him and everyone else in that tournament. He actually knew how to play Minecraft. He knew how to PvP, and I can assure you, Minecraft PvP looks really simple, but it's deceptively deep. And, you know, to contextualize this maybe a little bit more for the audience, for any esports fans, this is like Faker and Bronze Q, or it's like Daigo against like a kid in an arcade, or it's like, I don't know if anyone watches offline TV, but it's like Lily Pichu playing Uno, Demon. So here's what that looked like.
Dan TDM, Captain Sparkles, everyone's childhood heroes are here, and I'm gonna stab all of them.
Yeah, Techno, come to me, mate. Where are you?
I'm killing Ninja. Give me a second.
Are you actually killing Ninja?
I actually killed Ninja.
Bro, I'm dead. A stone axe, Technoblade just on me, dude.
Oh my God. Up! Ant Venom spotted. Ant Venom and Captain Sparkles. Get him! I killed Ant Venom.
Is this where Technoblade gets banned from Minecraft Mondays? Just right here?
No matter who he teams with, they win.
Don't you dare take this from me! Thank you. There's a dude behind you. Wait, no, you're chasing him. Never mind. Get that guy. And victory! Yes! 9-kill victory! It's PewDiePie! Get him! It's James Charles! Get him!
Together, gamers.
There's somebody behind me.
Get him!
No, I'm dead.
Hey, take the cake! Take the cake!
Yeah!
Technoblade! More like... I got nothing!
You're so bad! You're so...
We're just gonna be real with you guys.
Yeah.
Technoblade is the worry. Okay, he no-lifes this game. He plays this game with a steering wheel. He does this for a living. All day PvP. What do we do about him? What do we do about him?
He's so good at walking! Why is he good at everything?
Oh no, that's his head. Dude, Technoblade, run!
Fuck, let's get the fuck out of here, dude.
Oh my god!
Fuck this, fuck
Where do
this.
we go? We're so dead.
No.
I hate this.
Oh my god.
hate TNT.
All right, this. Yeah, I'm dead. I'm screwed. How are you? What's his range?
I got him! I got him!
Did you fucking get him?
Why is this a thing? Why is this a thing?
No
fucking
way!
Technoblade! I killed Technoblade!
Fucking way!
Let's go! Box in the chat, bros!
Holy dude,
chat!
get the out of there!
Box in the
Dip,
chat!
dude. Fucking dip!
Oh my god!
Dip, dude!
I have an
Dip
enchanted
the out
diamond
of there!
sword!
Holy
Oh my
shit!
god! I can brag that I killed freaking Technoblade, dude. Do you know how big that is? That's huge.
Dude. Gotta go rush him. Rush him. Spin the bow.
Are we going? Are we going?
Get
Let's
him.
go. I'm coming in.
Get him.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes!
Oh my god. We actually
feels
won.
beautiful.
What do you know? Technoblade won again! Yay, Hunger Game! Woo! Surprise!
Ooh, Ender Pearl's in. What? Camping? What are you doing? Muffin him. Oh my goodness. How is Technoblade doing this?
Did somebody say Minecraft Hunger Games? I'm the best! I'm Technoblade! Look at me go! I'm the best Minecraft player ever!
PvP! So nice.
He had a lot of success due to that series, and he became a superstar of YouTube. He smashed that million sub goal, and his legend boiled down to one simple phrase that players repeated over and over again, and that was Technoblade never dies. He hit 15.9 million subscribers on YouTube, 1.5 billion video views, all the way from nothing. And so as he grew, so did Hypixel. From a business point of view, it was worth a lot of value, right? Just like if you want to talk about business terms, that's not the most fun thing, but it was worth a lot to us, right? And more than that, players just wanted to play where Technoblade played. And that happened to be on Hypixel. His success became ours, and vice versa. He had finally achieved his dream, but like so many stories, there was an unexpected twist. Out of the blue, Technoblade put up this video.
So in the last few days of July, I noticed that my right arm was starting to hurt a decent amount, and I noticed that my right shoulder was starting to swell like crazy, and I was like, oh my god. So I headed over to the doctor to see what was wrong, and they ran a couple of scans, and then they came back, and they told me that the reason my arm hurts is because I have cancer. So I know people are going to be like, no, Technoblade, you don't need to make videos for us, please rest. Now, this isn't about you, bro. This is about me. I enjoy this, man. This is like one of the safest and most fun things I could be doing right now, bro. I'm gonna do it. So yeah, that's where I've been, and that's what I'm gonna be doing for the foreseeable future. Wish me luck. That's all I've got for today. See you guys next time.
And true to his word, he kept making videos, but the pace started to slow down. He received a lot of love and support from all his fans, and he was in contact with a lot of the Hypixel team at that time, asking questions about balance, Hytale, his favorite game modes, and so on. But eventually, he went quiet. And a few weeks passed, and I was at a team dinner, and I got a DM from a member of our team, and it was a link to an obituary. We didn't know if that was him. We didn't even know his real name. He was Technoblade. I'm Noxy. We don't use real names. We weren't even aware that things had got more serious. But there was a lot of things in that obituary that concerned us. The same age, the same condition, the same rough area, around the same time he went quiet. So we had our customer support team check into it, and we were able to confirm that that was him. That was devastating for us, and after that heartbreak passed, we realized that we were sitting on a pretty big bombshell. Millions of people, tens of millions of people, most of them children, around the world will be heartbroken. Their hero, Technoblade, had died. We looked online and we couldn't find any reference to any rumors. There was no URLs pointing to that obituary, there was nothing, but we knew it was a matter of time before people found out. And we didn't know what to do with that. There's no rule book around how to deal with that. Our nightmare was that some awful drama YouTuber or something like that would break the news. And we also realized that we didn't know anything about his family. We didn't know if his family even knew who he was. My own mother, for example, to this day, does not have any clue what I do. So we thought the best thing we could do was call the church from the obituary. And I called the receptionist, and we explained who we were and what we had found out, and we asked politely if the pastor could give us a call back. And about 10 minutes later, I got a call back, but it wasn't his pastor, it was his mother. And I started to nervously explain everything from the top, but she cut me off. She knew everything. She knew who I was by my name, what Hypixel was. She knew, of course, everything. And that moment for me, that was tough. I wasn't, I had asked to speak to the pastor. I was not ready to talk to his mother. And the crazy thing about that is that she was the one who comforted me. I was having a moment. And, since we had found out what had happened, we were in a what can we do to help kind of mode. I hadn't had my own time to process that news. So, yeah. So I told her about what the information that we had found out about, and we were very concerned about how that news was going to break. And, she told me they knew this day was coming, and they wanted to do that on their own terms, and they asked for our help to do that. So we came up with a plan together. Our goal, of course, was to shield them as much from any negativity, any trolls that would have been possible. We advised on how to lock down social media, talked about the scale of reaction to expect. As a family, they were pretty on the ball for that. We called some of his friends on YouTube on the family's behalf so they would at least have a little bit of a heads up beforehand about what was coming. And so we prepared a memorial on our end, and they prepared on their end. And a few days later, we noticed, and it was about 48 hours, we noticed that the rumors were starting, a forum post here or a social media tweet here, even the very first links to the obituary. And we called the family and we said, time is running out if you want to control the news. And so, luckily, their video was nearly ready, and the very next day, the following video went live.
Hi, I'm Technoblade's dad. He wrote a message and he asked me to read it to all of you. Hello everyone, Technoblade here. If you're watching this, I am dead. So let's sit down and have one final chat. My real name is Alex. I had one of my siblings call me Dave one time in a deleted video from 2016, and it was one of the most successful pranks we've ever done. Thousands of creepy online dudes trying to get overly personal going, "Oh, hey Dave, how's it going?" Sorry for selling out so much in the past year, but thanks to everyone that bought hoodies, plushies, and channel memberships. My siblings are going to college. Well, if they want to. I don't want to put any dead brother peer pressure on them. But that's all from me. Thank you all for supporting my content over the years. If I had another 100 lives, I think I would choose to be Technoblade again every single time, as those were the happiest years of my life. I hope you guys enjoyed my content and that I made some of you laugh. And I hope you all go on to live long, prosperous, and happy lives. Because I love you guys. Technoblade out. We'd been talking for a couple of months about Alex doing a final video. Sometimes he called it a face reveal. We were going to shoot it in his living room, but we kind of waited too long. Then we were going to shoot it from his bed. He wanted to have everything he wanted to say written down ahead of time, and I think he was having a hard time focusing with all the various things that were hooked up to him. He's always been kind of particular about his environment, and that really put him off the mental state that he wanted to be in to write. Eventually he said he was going to write it, and he asked me to read it. But he was having a hard time doing the writing. And at some point, I got down on my knee at his bedside, and I said to him, Alex, you don't have to do anything else. You've done so much for so many people, millions of people. And if you want to now, you can rest. But if you want to write one last video and you're waiting for things to get a little better, then I would say, don't wait. I don't think things are going to get any better anymore. It seemed like that reached him, and he asked for my laptop, and then he wrote a few paragraphs. I don't think he said everything he wanted to say, but I think he got the main points. He finished that up, and then he was done. He lived about another 8 hours after that. We all said goodbye. He was the most amazing. He was the most amazing kid anyone could ever ask for. I miss Technoblade. Thank you to all of you for everything. You meant a lot to him.
You know, the level of bravery that his dad displayed in that moment is just incredible. You know, the video went live, and the entire internet was heartbroken. It became international news, and tributes poured in from all around the world. Amazing fan art from everywhere, among other things. And everyone grieved in their own unique ways. On our side, we wanted to do something for his family and provide an emotional outlet for our players who would be experiencing a lot. So we put together fairly quickly an in-game memorial. So this is taking place on the Hypixel server on Minecraft. And what we did was we put it together so that players could actually use a Minecraft book to write a message that would be delivered to his family. And this is what that looks like. So players queued up en masse to sign a book inside Minecraft on the Hypixel server. At the end of 2 weeks, there was 430,000 messages left for his family. We had obviously expected a lot, but that was much more than we ever could have imagined. We formed a volunteer group to moderate all the messages. Dozens of us signed up for it, and we just didn't want his family to see anything in the messages that would be inappropriate. And obviously, you know, the Hypixel, the Technoblade, the Minecraft communities are very kind-hearted. So fortunately, we only needed to delete a few of them. After 2 weeks of volunteer moderation, we had only got through 10% of the messages. And so we had to outsource that to a moderation company, actually. And then the act then of getting all these messages done into a set of books, we thought, or we estimated, that it would take 200 books to print out all the messages. So we also then worked with a company that specialized in making Bibles to get all the messages printed in a collection. Eventually, we got that collection down to 22 books. And those very books are going to be here today for you to look at and check out. They're very special, and we'll talk more about those later. On top of the books, we put out a submission or call out for fan art. And there were hundreds of submissions. And obviously, you know, from a legal point of view, we had to get all the rights and all that sort of stuff to make the fan art printable and all the fun stuff associated with, you know, business stuff. But one fan artist in particular stood out, and her name was Snifferish. And she had started working on an oil painting after he put up that original video announcing he had cancer, but sadly she had ran out of time. She actually really wanted to finish that artwork for the family, and she hit me up on Twitter. And it was just very simple. You know, how long do we have to finish the art? And we thought this was just an oil painting of that size was just the most amazing thing possible. So we reached out to her in private and actually asked Snifferish if she'd like to come along and present the art in person to the family. She asked if her friend could join us. They had actually met each other and became friends through the Technoblade community itself. He had cosplayed Technoblade, cosplaying a YouTuber, right? It's pretty amazing. And so there was 3 of us at that point, and I'll be honest with you, I started to feel a little bit nervous about meeting his family. And then that's where Brandon, who very kindly agreed to come along and had been following this story and offered his emotional support to meet the family, and you know, I really appreciate that. So we set out, and we visited his family, and we knocked on the door. We shared stories about how much he meant to us. We delivered the books and the fan art. After about 15 minutes, his father hands Brandon a phone and asks him, could he record a part of it? And we're able to share this with the family's permission with you today.
I have sort of a handful of memories of that squeaky voice kid coming to me and saying, Dad, 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 Dad. Everybody's talking about Mindplex. Oh, Mindplex is not it. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's Hypixel. And then he had a whole list of reasons why the place to go was Hypixel, and he said, they're the ones, I don't remember the words exactly, but he was very clear that was what he was gonna do. He was gonna go with you guys. And then in the years when he was on the player council, you know, you sort of alluded earlier to him being on top of you, and I remember there were times where he was like, oh, this thing is currently 10 points and it should be 12.
That's the sort of detail that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I joke about it and saying, okay, he wasn't really honest, but like being honest like that, it keeps us, sharp. Not just the player customer, but as a YouTuber as well. And, like the direct feedback and his relationship with Simon and a lot of the other staff as well was really critical. And he was such a cornerstone of the community. So we really appreciate everything he did for us. And so this is the small thing we could do.
Alex thought about his channel, and he thought about Hypixel, and he thought about Minecraft a lot. And in the middle of having a burrito or something, he'd start talking about some aspect of the game he wanted changed, or something he was working out with you guys. And I was impressed that sometimes, especially from somebody who's 14 or 15, they might be harder to take seriously. But you guys took him really seriously, and it was like he took it very seriously. It was like more important than his grades, unfortunately. He got fine grades, but he thought it was like his life's work, and it was really heartening that you guys took him at his word. You believed in him and worked with him, and I think it was a wonderful experience. This is amazing that you did this for us. I can't tell you.
You were staring at the window, and I said, I'll just bring this to you. But if I was gone tomorrow, won't the waves crash on? Is it selfish that I'm happy as we pass the setting sun? Someday I'll be overcast, but you won't have to cry, 'cause we'll do the grieving while I'm by your side. I said, don't try to make yourself remember, darling, don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, 'cause when we're gone, everything goes.
That was a pretty powerful moment, something I'll never forget. Like, how could I ever? There's huge parts of that story we can never share. Very much not just games at that point. It was a very real thing. We all comforted each other. I didn't just see Brandon, the founder of Riot, or board member of DICE. I saw Brandon, the dad, comforting and connecting with another dad. As developers, when we invest in players, we're also opening ourselves to them, right? And you can be fulfilled by love, but hearts worn on sleeves are the easiest to get hurt. And sadly, for game development, like Megan spoke about earlier, and as so many of you in this room know, I'm sure, pain is always going to exist. And it can come in so many different ways. Layoffs, toxic player interactions, not meeting milestones, or, as Gabe alluded to, the launch of Cyberpunk, or financial goals, or whatever it is. It can come, and it can really nag at you. And then, you can fear opening social media, you can dread breaking some bad news at the next team meeting, or you can just feel burned out. But despite all that, it does remain possible to look past it, to look through it like it's a Mario Ghost. Because through that, there are amazing stories, floating stories of players that make the pain that we all feel as developers so worth it that we would never consider doing anything else. Stories like that of Technoblade, like that of Catarific. So in this moment where I'm lucky enough and honored enough to be in a room filled with so many amazing developers, all I can just do is encourage yourself to allow yourself to be pulled in by those stories, even if it's just one player. It's easier said than done. As we rise in seniority, it becomes harder to maintain a direct connection, but find that exception. Because if you succeed and you get pulled in by just that one story, it's so worth it, because players are just amazing. Out of all industries, we are allowed to have a unique relationship and a unique conversation that can last a lifetime. And by allowing yourself to have that story, you might find your own Technoblade, or you might find a new friend for life. What we now carry at Hypixel is the pain of the realization that Technoblade will never get to play Hytale. He is not going to be there for us on launch day. He's not there for us on the Minecraft server. His memory has coalesced and formed as both love and pain in our hearts. And so the only thing we can do now as a developer is channel that into making a game that Technoblade would have loved. So it's about time to wrap this up. I don't want this talk to go as long as a Game Award speech, but today, there's a few final closing notes. I really recommend that you spend a little bit of time with those books. They're going to be in the arcade, I think, until the reception later. But those aren't just books. They're unique, they're special, they're artifacts, they're physical embodiments of what this talk was about love and pain. They're truly special, and there's almost like they feel heavier in your hands than they are. So DICE have very kindly put it together over there in the arcade. Check them out, please. And I really also want to give a super special thanks to Technoblade's family for giving their permission for this talk to go ahead. And a shout out also to our artists, Bob and Thomas, who did all that really cool artwork you saw today. So with that all being said, I just want to say thank you for letting me share his story with you today.